Hey guys, so if you're looking to get your listing sold, or maybe you're a real estate agent and you're looking to get more listings right now, this market is really crazy. I mean, the interest rates are pretty high, highest they've been in many, many years. And there's a lot of people that want to sell their home, but they're in that 2, 3, 4% interest rate, and the affordability factor is making it very challenging. So one of the ways that you can get more listings sold, or as a real estate agent, one of the ways that you can, attract more sellers to list with you as opposed to another agent is by being creative. And in this market, you have to be creative to get the properties sold, okay? So one of the strategies that we have is called a buy down, a temporary buy down. You can do a 3-2-1 buy down or a 2-1 buy down. Sometimes the 2-1 buy down is going to be better financially than the 3-2-1 buy down. And I'm going to show you in just a second how to calculate how much it's going to cost for your sellers. But this is a strategy. Instead of taking a $500,000 listing, for example, and then, it sits on the market for 90 days, 90 days later, you say, hey, let's drop it $25,000. If you know that it's priced to sell, the comps are there for this property to sell. It's just not selling because the buyer pool is not, there's not that many buyers that can afford that right now. Then you can offer the buy down. And essentially what it does is the seller is offering seller concessions to the potential buyer to buy down that interest rate for a certain period of time. So with the 3-2-1 buy down, if the interest rate is, let's just say 7.5, okay, in year one, that interest rate is going to be 3 points lower than the 7.5. So year one, the rate will be 4.5. Year two, the rate will be 5.5. Year three, the rate will be 6.5. And then after that, it's going to go to the normal prevailing rate at 7.5. Now, most people are going to be refinancing when rates come down. Yes, we will be having a refi boom again at some point in the future, might be a couple of years, but I can tell you that I really strongly believe in the next 2 years, we are going to see lower interest rates. So what that means is that they can then go ahead and refinance into the lower interest rate before that interest rate ever gets up to that normal prevailing rate, okay? So let me just show you on my computer how that works. Okay, so if we go to the 3-2-1 mortgage buy down calculator, I'm gonna just do a 2-year buy down instead of a 3, okay? Now, for a conventional loan, this is important to know. The maximum seller concessions seller is allowed to give, or any interested party, so it could mean seller and realtor combined, the maximum credit essentially you're able to give on a conventional loan is 3%. If it's a VA loan, it's 4%. And if it's an FHA loan, it's 6%. So that means that if it's a conforming conventional loan, the seller can only offer up to 3% to go towards this interest rate buy down, okay? But I think 3% in a 2-1 buy down is more than enough. So if we look here, if we have a loan amount, let's just say of $350,000 on a 30-year fixed, and let's just say the rate is at 7.5, and we are going to offer or contribute 3% towards the closing costs, okay? So the 3% is of the purchase price. If the purchase price is $400,000, that means it's $12,000 can go towards the closing costs. Okay, so if we go here and we calculate it, we look and see, that means that the total buy down for the loan, if we're going to offer the 3% concessions, this is for the 3-1 buy down, okay, is $16,000. That means that year one, the interest rate is going to be 3% lower, year two, 2%, year one, 1%, and then it goes to the normal prevailing rate. So in order to get there, it's going to cost $16,000. $10,500 is allowed by a third party, and then $59.26 is paid by you, which means the borrower. Now, if we wanted to do a 2-down buy down, I'm going to show you why this is a better option. Okay, so if we do the 2-1 buy down, and this is saying of the loan amount, but honestly, the 3% seller concessions is of the purchase price. So if we want to do a 3%, 3% to go towards closing costs, okay, that means that $8,340 is going to cost, that's how much it's going to cost for the 2-1 buy down. And then the buyer will get a credit for $2,160. Okay, so the credit is going to be, we can see right here that they will get a credit towards their closing costs in the amount of $2,160. It's going to cost $83.40 to buy down the interest rate. And then the monthly payment in year 1 is going to be $1,987. So you can see it's a pretty significant savings. So for 12 months, they're going to pay $1,987. For the next 12 months, they're going to pay $2,212. We're not even going to look at year 3 because it's not a 3-2-1 buy down. Okay, so if we go with the 2-1 buy down, then that's 3% will give them more than enough money to buy down the interest rate, and then it will also give them a credit. If we do the 3-2-1 buy down, it's not going to be enough to buy down the interest rate and then also, give them a credit. So they're going to have to come up with money in the 3-2-1 buy down. In the 2-1 buy down, that's why I think it's a little bit better deal, especially if we're talking about affordability, is that they're not going to have to come up with any additional money, and it's not going to cost the seller a lot. So as I was saying before, if you have a $400,000 or $500,000, a $400,000 list price, and you decide to drop the list price by $25,000, in the whole grand scheme of things, $25,000 drop on a purchase price is not that much of a savings to an actual buyer. And the reason being is because it is amortized over 30 years. So that savings, or that $25,000 savings or lower purchase price, is going to then be spread out the loan amount over 30 years. So when you do the buy down, it's actually reducing the interest rate. So this is going to be a better option. If you know your listings are priced right, you have the comps to support it, and there's enough room in there to offer the seller concessions for the buy down, that's going to be a better option for a buyer. It's going to give you something to actually market on your listings. And this is a great strategy right now in a higher interest rate market to go out and get more listings, because people are scared to list their properties right now because they think they're not going to sell, or they don't know where they're going to go. Now on the flip side, if you are a buyer's agent and you're working with buyers and the affordability is becoming an issue for your clients, maybe they have enough money for the closing costs. That's not the problem, but the problem is the monthly payment. This is another strategy that you can go to the listing agents on any property that they're interested in and say, hey, we're asking for seller concessions. It's not to cover closing costs. They have enough money for the closing costs. It is to buy down that interest rate. So if you are a buyer's agent, this is another strategy for you to be able to go and get your buyers under contract and get them in on that lower interest rate. If you guys want more information, you want branded material, you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me about it, my calendar is below in this video. Hop on my calendar. I can get you co-branded information for your sellers. I can get you co-branded information for your buyers, your buyer presentations. And we can also sit down and strategize, because as most of you know, I have been in real estate and in mortgage since 2001. I know both sides of the market. So I'm really good at helping you come up with a strategy to get your properties, your buyers into homes, and your sellers properties sold. So grab a spot on my calendar. I look forward to helping you. and have a great day.